Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening.
Let's get ready to rumble! Get ready to rumble!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel. It is Fan Forum Live here on Thursday night for once because of obviously Newcastle United. Wednesday, we had to do a preview show. So it was all hickledy-pickledy this week. How are you, Jayde, tonight?
I'm good, thank you. Hope everyone's doing all right.
Yeah, you recovered from slight rage issues again last night?
Yes, calm myself down now. For now.
Quality, yep. Right, before we get started, Dave Harrison, who was at the game last night, he sent me a video because he watched the reaction show, the live reaction show last night, and realised that there was a bit of confusion as to whether any fans had a dig at Steve Bruce or made the feelings clear. Now, this video is what happened when the players did the appreciation lap and came round past Dave. He filmed it, so I've cut the video down slightly so it's not too long. But thanks to Dave for sending this in, and see what you guys think of this video.
Come on, Bruce! Piss off! Get out and pull your bloody comic head! Graham Jones back to White Army!
So as Graham Jones passed, it was Graham Jones's Black White Army.
He did promise.
Yeah, he did actually. Apparently that went on throughout the appreciation lap, and I think it was, people said they were going to make the feelings known to Steve Bruce, and I certainly think it was done. What I found funny is how far away Steve Bruce stood away from the supporters during that sort of appreciation lap. It's like he'd done a lap of the centre circle while the rest of the players went around the side of the pitch. So it seems to me like the feelings were made.
Yeah, definitely, and I think damn right. I think you probably try to stay away from it as much as possible. Did need to get involved, but I'm glad. Like obviously the lads got a clap, which is good, and I'm glad after the clap that it cleared up that there was some stick. So yeah. Anyone else who said otherwise, who wasn't there, can now eat the words.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of criticism certainly on our show last night towards the fans, saying that they didn't really make themselves known. But like I say, it's hard to tell when it's live on telly like that. Sky, we know that they're pals of all the media goings on and pundits and friends of Steve Bruce. So maybe they covered it out during the match quite cleverly. We don't know. We have got plenty guests lined up. A question first from Tom says, should Newcastle buy Joe Willock in the transfer window? And if we don't, should we get him back on loan again? Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that, Tom. We need him. He makes our midfield tick. He's got to come in. Now, whether they go for another loan deal with a view to buy and agree a fee after the season's finished, then we'll have to wait and see. Thomas says, evening, everyone. Dave, who is actually waiting to come on the show. Billy says, all hail King Mohammed of Morocco. Cheers, Billy. And I can see Chippers trying to laugh in the waiting area. Shut your face, Chippers. Quite frankly, I wish I had his money, but unfortunately I don't. And then Billy also sucking up to you, Jayde, with all hail the Queen of Heaven.
Thank you.
Shite off, Billy, will you?
Very true,
and then he
Billy.
goes to say, yeah. Good to see the monumental bellenders welcome as a fart in a spacesuit. Exactly. And Judy comes on saying, Your Majesty. Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, let's bring a couple of guests on. We have Mr. Proudlock, we have Annie, and we have Mr. Harrison himself. Good evening, gents.
Guys.
How are we on this fine evening? Dave, we'll start with you, seeing as you were at the match last night. Obviously, thank you for sending me the videos. It was very interesting to see, given that, I know you caught a bit of the reaction show as well after the game last night. And, there was a lot of criticism towards the fans saying that we were pathetic in a way because we didn't let our feelings know through the match. But it was clear there from your video that during that lap of appreciation, or whatever they want to call it these days, that there was a bit of anger towards Bruce.
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, I think I said, I put on a message on the show last night was that, sorry, I've just knocked my computer. There we go. I think one of the problems was that we were sat quite away from each other. I mean, I think the nearest person to me was about 5 seats away. The row in front and behind was completely empty. So 1 in 5 seats were taken up. So getting a chant going, getting a reaction going was obviously quite difficult. It happened a couple of times. You probably heard on the telly, but there was a lot of mutterings. There was a few lads who were sat a couple of rows behind did say, "We're not going to have a go at Bruce yet. We want to support the team," which is what I try to do all the match. But clearly, as you saw on my video, and I think other ones that were on social media today of a similar ilk. As he came round, he got dog abuse, and rightly so.
I noticed how far he was away from the supporters though when he did that lap.
That was very true. I mean, the team and the coaches, Graham Jones especially, almost walked around the touchline all 4 corners. Bruce sort of did a bit of a semicircle, if you like, through the middle. He didn't hang about. To be fair to the lad, he clapped all the way around and he was waving at the supporters. You wasn't getting much. People are waving back at him, but it was an odd one, certainly was.
Peter, I've seen your play ratings video today. I forgot what you scored, Miggy.
6.
Oh, that was generous. I think I'd give him a 5 or even a 4. Do you think his time's running out, Peter?
It's a very good question. It's looking that way, isn't it? Or is it the way we're playing? I mean, you could tell that centre midfield role is not how he plays. He's more of an attacking number 10, but you got a question as well. Is it too fast from the Premier League as well? Because, I mean, he wasn't as bad as the previous games, but again, there was that frustrating side with his final ball a lot of the time. That was the letdown again.
Yeah, he was pushed forward more last night. I don't know, Dave, I don't know, obviously you were there. He seemed to be pushed forward, but the final ball from Miggy isn't there. And he's trying to do weight. He just sort of puts his head down, goes, and just, he doesn't seem to have a plan in his head about what he's going to do with the ball, Dave.
No, that's absolutely right, Paul. I mean, I think, he's clearly a talent. And I've said a couple of times, I think I've said on here, that with the right coaching, he'd be a brilliant player, but he's nowhere near the form he was, a couple of years ago. But you're absolutely right. He gets into those tricky positions. The defenders clearly panic when he gets the ball, as they do with the 2 or 3 sort of fast players that we've got. 2 or 3, maybe it's only 2. And they get scared, but then final ball, falls over. It's frustrating as hell because the talent is absolutely there. There's no doubt about it.
Did you get the feeling around you that the fans were a bit sort of getting a bit angry or paid off with him a little bit?
No, not really. I think he's still. I mean, you often talk about the honeymoon period with players. Well, that's obviously long gone. But I still think because as we fans, I mean, we'll all agree that we very much want a team that tries and a team that's passionate, and he's definitely that. I mean, he shows he's frustrating. There was a couple of times with me in the first half, especially where Dubravka got the ball, and you talked about Dubs's distribution being a bit poor. And it was a classic one yesterday. Miggy ran away. He was in clear space, screaming for the ball to be passed out of the wing. Stubbs farted for about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Miggy just threw his head up and thought, oh, you know. And then, I mean, the ball eventually got to him, but by that time, of course, all the defenders were back in place. So that must be frustrating for the lad. But yeah, he definitely needs a bit of extra sort of coaching, a bit of extra, you know, thought about how he plays and where he plays. But definitely the final third needs to be improved substantially.
Yeah, I'd agree. Chippers, by the way, this isn't a dating site, mate. This is a YouTube channel. So stop all the trying to pull Judy, will you? Because it's not going to work on the show. Right? You know, I mean, this is getting pathetic. Judy says she can't do anything. And then Chippers is like, but I can. So, but Chippers then goes on to say, it's great to see Barry off EastEnders on tonight.
Oh, God.
No, I'm sorry, but Barry off EastEnders, not anymore. No.
You're going to show that thing, aren't you?
You've got to do it, Paul. You've got to do it.
Sure, what, Peter? I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea, Peter. I have no idea. In fact, I have that much no idea. I'm trying to find it to upload it to StreamYard, and I can't find it. I don't know where I've put it, which is highly annoying. But it's anyway. That's more for the Horseman show, the lookalikes anyway. But it seems to have completely vanished off my. I've got loads of ones of you, Jayde, for some reason, but I can't find Peter. That didn't sound right at all. But anyway.
That's that. I think I've got it.
Yeah, well,
yes, moving quickly on.
We'll quickly move on from that. But Chippers, enough of the bloody dating site. Steve Bruce is champion in the by Willock course. I know he is. It's just Chippers. Billy says Miggy just makes the wrong decision virtually every single time. He shoots when he should pass and vice versa. He needs some specialist attack and coaching, and he ain't going to get that with the monumental Bell End. He's not. Ryan says Willock and Newcastle are to contact with Arsenal. They will find funds in the summer by selling some key players. Well, we'll see. Judy says, I watched the highlights and I can't understand how we can squander so many chances. We seem allergic to goals. I wonder if Willock is so good because the Toon curse hasn't washed onto him yet. That's also a very good point. Stephen, good evening.
Hasn't been
don't like
yet.
Miggy being... Yeah. Don't like Miggy being criticised. He's not a centre midfielder's position is the number 10 role. If people stick up for Shelby, I'll stick up for Almiron. Love the lad. Stephen, you're welcome to that, mate, but I think his best position is actually in the front three on the left. That is where he's gained his reputation, but he just seems he's been played in the wrong place at the minute. Jayde, you spoke about Joelinton last night very wholeheartedly, it has to be said. I'm at the end of my tether with him now. I just don't think he offers anything. That header was as much use as smacking the backside of a rented mule. It was pathetic. It flew over the bar. I'm done with him.
Yeah, like I think what I said last night as well, it was harder to miss than it was to get it on target. But for a Premier League striker, not even to test the keeper in that situation, it's really terrible. I mean, if that was Wilson, the back of the net would be shaken, and it's little things like that. Like you can't kind of start making excuses for him because he's had one good game, like he scored a good penalty, then he goes and does this, and you feel like just when he's got his confidence and it kind of can push on, he does something like this, and for me yesterday he was missing in that game. I didn't see any kind of quality from him or any kind of a contribution from the team.
Yeah, it was pants. Annie, I know you watched the Mackems game for some strange reason, and being that you're on so many Newcastle United channels, it's immense that you managed to watch the Mackems last night for some reason. I mean, it's quite funny actually, Sunderland losing, but never mind. All the crap we got earlier in the season about we're going to meet you in the Championship, this and that. They're not even going to make the playoff final for God's sake because they're shite. Anyway, Annie, I don't know whether you've caught any of the highlights of Newcastle's game. What did you think of Saint-Maximin?
Just quality, to be honest. Again, no real end product, but that ball was fantastic. But he could have made more with the situation if he had more end product. But again, that ball was it to Murphy. I think that was absolutely ridiculous. That was like Dice top quality, and he's just if he can turn it on, he's just unbelievable at times.
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more from Saint-Maximin with his finishing product. That was the one that obviously set the goal up. But sometimes I just think he does a little bit too much. But last night he was just absolutely on fire. Billy says Alisson is a better header of the ball than Joelinton. Well, that says something, doesn't it? When a fucking goalkeeper is better than our number 9. Honestly, get that number 9 shirt off him next season, because I will have a fucking meltdown if he is number 9 next season. Totally I promise you. On a positive note, Saint-Maximin seems to thrive in front of the crowd. He was serenading us and made sweet, sweet love to the crowd. I'm moist. Well, interesting. Thanks for too much information on that. But yeah, I mean, obviously when he run, the crowd, obviously he feeds off the crowd's energy. That's the type of player Saint-Maximin is. I just worry about him being made of glass. We've said this for so long now that, the fact is that he picks up these injuries here and there and knocks for 6. And I mean, he slipped on the grass yesterday and he's done his calf muscle. It just will come on to the fitness later on in the show, but it beggars belief at times. It really does. Jackie Boy says Joelinton isn't a striker though. Question is, where is he supposed to play? And also, could it be Bruce to blame for his lack of goals? Peter?
No.
Well, it sounds like we bought him in to be a striker if we've given him that number 9 shirt. But honestly, where do you look at his previous clubs and he scored double figures? I don't think he scored double figures at any club he's been to. There's had chance, he's had service. It's not been good enough. Yes, there's been a couple of games. It looks like he's looked a bit better. But I've said it's not been enough to convince me he's good enough at all for this football club. I think we definitely need to move him on. I'm sorry, but I know he's probably not going to go because who's going to pay the price tag for him?
Yeah.
But sorry, he's just not good enough for this football club. No chance. And I mean that header yesterday. Oh God Almighty! And I scored. I scored a 3 yesterday. He was that good yesterday again.
Right before you go, then Peter, give us a prediction for the Fulham game. I mean, God knows what the team's going to be, but give us a prediction.
2-1 Newcastle.
And the goal scorers?
Joe Willock again.
Yeah.
And Jacob Murphy.
Wow. Yeah. I hope he does, because Murphy deserves a goal, in my opinion. Right, Pete, thanks for coming on. I presume you'll be doing your normal stuff, match previews and quick thoughts and player ratings. Yep, and then you'll be back here on Monday night for the Horseman show. I would be prepared for that if I were you, Peter.
Well,
yeah, I think we're all going to get an absolute battering this week, but we'll see. We'll see. But take care, mate. I'll see you on Monday, buddy.
Yeah.
Bye.
So that was Peter there. Paul says, sick of all this, all the Bruce fanboys on social media. Not a coach. Needing to bring Graham Jones in, proved this, and hence the improved results. Monumental Bellend couldn't manage to find his way out of a room with one door. By the way, Monumental Bellend is catching on now. If anyone sees MBE, my catchphrase for Steve Bruce seems to have caught on, and everybody now just knows him as the MBE. It's certainly not
monumental. Hashtag Monumental Bellend.
That's right. Yes. So, Ryan, I mean, Annie, what did you think of the Sunderland game last night? And seeing as you watched it, is there any chance for them in the second leg? Do you think?
First of all, Lee Johnson constantly sticks with a two in the middle, and he plays Lyndon Gooch as probably a winger at cam, and it just doesn't work. He's tried Aidan McGeady as a cam, and it's not really worked. He's better as a winger. Sunderland fans have been calling for a 4-3-3, and it's just not come. Lee Johnson, even at City, he persisted with the two in the middle, and it worked at times. But normally, when we switched to 3-5-2 at Bristol City, we won more games because of the fact that we had a 3 in the middle. And same thing with Sunderland. Even if he goes to a 3 at the back with Flanagan, Willis, and Bailey Wright.
I don't know any Sunderland players. I'm sorry. You could name the whole team, and I've never heard of them.
Fair enough. But still, if he goes to 3 in the middle, I think Sunderland have a much better chance of winning the game. But he just does not want to do that, which is really hurting their chances of going through because
yeah, exactly. Good.
Because
Agent Lee Johnson.
Because they won 4-0 at Lincoln playing a 4-3-3 earlier on in the season with Lee Johnson, and every time I think it's a mental stat, like they've won 93% of their games when they've played a 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2, but have won like 20% of their games playing a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2-2-2. It's just utterly unbelievable how he keeps persisting with the 2 in the middle, and if Sunderland have any chance of winning with 3-0, then they have to go to the 3 in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, my heart bleeds for them. Obviously, it's pouring with blood right now. It just obviously half my family are Mackhams. My mum, my brother are Sunderland fans, and it was quite joyful for me last night to send them such a heartfelt, sympathetic message about losing the game and having the fact that they're going to be stuck in League One again next season. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And I don't know what's going on with my wire here. It seems to have wrapped around my ear. But, it was just glorious to send them such a heartfelt message. And good luck to them on Saturday. And I really don't mean that.
I hint a smidge of sarcasm.
Yeah, just a tad. Yeah. Tom says Joelinton has got to leave in the transfer window to cash in on him.
The
words cash in and Joelinton are not supposed to be used in anywhere near the same sentence, mate, because we will not cash in on Joelinton. Dave, how much money do you think we're going to lose on Joelinton?
39.5 million.
So you're basically saying his value is 500 grand now. You know what? You could be right. I can't see anybody paying a lot of money for him.
I would. I mean, the lad tries, bless him, but he's just not good enough. I've said a few times. I think there's a player in there, but I don't know which coach would get out of him. But no, he's never going to cut it in this league. Like Peter said, you look at his record from his previous clubs. He's never done anything brilliant. I mean, he's a quarter decent player. But no, I mean, there's no way we're going to get the money back from it. You often say you pick a player from a certain side and say how many Premier League teams would he walk into, and you can go 2 or 3, 4 or 5 or whatever it is. If you say Harry Kane, you'd probably walk in every one of them. But Joelinton, no, it ain't going to happen. And I don't think you'd walk into certainly the top of the Championship teams. You'd have to go, middle to bottom of the Championship team.
No, he might walk into Swansea. To be honest, they don't have any strikers.
Well, why don't you think, Bristol City could have Joelinton and Dwight Gale next season up front? That would be perfect for both sets of fans.
I'll take Gale. You can have Joelinton.
Why would you want Dwight Gale? His attitude stinks. I mean,
have you seen his record in the Championship?
Oh my God, that was years ago, man. And he, times have moved
on. Years ago, at West Brom, where he's just banging in goals for fun. Him, Barnes, and Rodriguez. Utterly unbelievable.
Annie, a feather could drop from a duck's wing, right, onto him, and he would fall over. That's how bad he is. He just can't stay on his feet. He's monumentally shit. And
he was awful last night, Paul.
Yeah, he was.
He was awful. I mean, he had 2 runs at the box and just ended up saying, where's the ball gone? Oh, that defender's gone with the wing. He came on and thought, he scored some goals, and he's right. In the couple of 3 years ago in the Championship, he was banging them in. Great, well done, fella. But he came on last night and he just didn't look interested.
No.
I mean, he may or may not be, I don't know, but he just goes straight. As soon as he come on, people watch out. Did he sign a 3-year deal? Nobody knows, So
no, it hasn't been confirmed. I mean, there was rumours a couple of weeks ago. Everybody knows that there was rumours going around from various media sources that he'd been offered a 3-year deal, but then that was it. It was shut down after that. Nobody knows nothing, and the club's not coming out with anything, which is typical Newcastle United. They don't talk to us, so we'll probably find out. Starting next season, if he's in the squad, he signed a contract. Simple as that.
If he's not interested, then has he signed a 3-year contract? If he doesn't look interested, that suggests he hasn't.
Well, the thing is, they're talking about him signing the contract. Newcastle wanted him to sign that so that they can get some money for him. They're not going to get much for Dwight Gale. I mean, we're talking about Joelinton being 500 grand. You'll not get much more than that for Dwight Gale. I'm telling you now, he's not worth it because he hasn't proved himself.
You might, but he's experienced, and you might squeeze it. In my humble opinion, you might squeeze about $1 million for him if he signs the 3 year.
Look, at the end of the day, if he goes to a side in the Championship and scores goals, well, good for them. But his heart's not in Newcastle United anymore. That's clear. Every time he steps on the pitch for us, he just can't be arsed. Wish we had wingers as good at putting crosses into the box as Richie and Murphy, our current wing backs. Listen, I've said all along, I think Murphy's going to turn into a fantastic right back. I really do believe that. His defending's getting better. He just has to start, learning when to distribute the ball from the back, when to boot it away, and things like that, which will come the more he gets used to the position. But I just think, I said on my match review today in my play ratings video, go and check that out if you haven't seen it, at the end of the show. But I said that he could end up like a Gary Neville type right back because he's got the engine to get up and down, he can tackle, and he can certainly cross a ball. So, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Gary Neville. I'm saying a Gary Neville-esque player.
To me, that sounds like a right winger.
Annie, Gary Neville was a right back.
I know who Gary Neville is, okay? I was talking about Jacob Murphy. Of course I was talking about Jacob Murphy.
Yeah.
He's getting quicker as well, to be fair, Paul.
He is. And his football and brain's getting quicker.
Yeah.
Paul says another year of Bruce Ball, Joelinton, and those fucking press conferences, too depressing. Jayde, I'll say one word to you and then you can explain it after that because I don't want to say too much to get your temperature up again. Fitness.
Uh-oh.
It's just embarrassing. It's like I can talk myself blue about it because it's what it is now. It's embarrassing. Yeah, what even League One team goes out and falls over for controlling the ball? You don't pull. I could even do that. Like I don't pull a muscle from controlling a ball. Like Maximum slipped, pulled his hamstring, half the team down in the 90th minute because they're knackered. And to me, that it shows how much they are putting into it. But at the end of the day, that needs to change immediately. And the fact that we're all seeing it and Mr. Bruce can't is just baffling to me. But something definitely needs to be done about that. Anyone around him, all of the coaching staff, even if it doesn't come from Steve, even Graham needs to step up and say, right, listen, we need to kind of tarnish these players a bit better because the conditioning of them is just shocking. And do you blame them? It's 2-3 times a week and you're playing 90. I don't know what they do the rest of the week because I think that some of them have looked a bit kind of like, I know Andy Carroll's not playing as much, but he's definitely put on a bit of weight. And I don't blame him because they're literally not doing anything. And like I said, I've seen Hebben train more than I've seen Newcastle train, and it's an embarrassment from a Premier League club.
Yeah, well, being the Queen of Hebben, obviously, I know you'll be watching them quite closely, being royalty in that. Dave, what's your view on the fitness?
Fitness? No, I haven't got any fitness, have they? I mean,
what?
Do you know what it is last night? It's absolutely right. I was sitting in the East stands, and I'm just at the first tier, so I'm not far away from them. Mm-hmm. They were blown out their backsides before half time, and it was embarrassing. It really was, and yet Sheffield were pretty quick. I mean, there were a few times, we shout here, people shout, that's why you're getting relegated, because they were that bad last night. They were hopeless. But we were, you just tell they were dropping lifelines. I mean, Willock ran out his team because, quite frankly, our favourite player, or David's favourite player, Shelby, who did a bit more last night, I have to say, but, we're starting from a lower bar, by the way. He's, they're having to run around and make up for the lack of midfielders. And by the 80th minute, they were just dead on their feet, and thinking, "Oh, guys, this is just ridiculous." And I don't know. Listening, was you, Paul, said about getting an army PT in. That would do me really good. Actually, knock 7 bells out of another close season, get them fit. And if Bruce doesn't want to be there 2 or 3 days a week because he wants to be at home, well, fair enough. But just say to Graham Jones, "Listen, fella, you're in charge. Get them fit." And I wouldn't have a problem with that. But Bruce clearly doesn't think training is is a major part of the game. Well, we all know it absolutely is. You know, you're going to be playing players who are fit as the proverbial butcher's dog, and I'm 70 with a wrecked knee, and I think I could keep up with some of them. So.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. The likes of Saint-Maximin, Almiron, and the Longstaffs have obvious talent, but they're never going to develop under this coaching staff. Sad to say, but this is as good as they'll be if they stay.
Fair point.
So Joelinton is just a shit Amiobi. Well, I mean,
harsh.
On Amiobi.
Yeah, I know. Glad I didn't invest in the 1892 pledge. We can't even pay a week worth of wages to Joelinton. 4-0 Newcastle. Tom's going for on Sunday. Tom, I really don't know where that's coming from.
It actually happened 2018-19 final day of the season. 4-0 at Fulham as well.
It did. But times are very different. We had Rafa then. We've now got Steve Bruce. Anyway, new to the show, first timer on here. We have Mike. Good evening, Mike.
Yo, you all right?
Mike.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Yourselves?
Yeah, not too bad. Glad you're first timer on the show. Were you at the game last night?
No.
What did you think of it?
Well, when Raphael left, I left. That was the end of it.
Right. Yeah. So what did you think of the game? Did you watch it last night on TV?
Yeah. Well, I watched it. Yeah. Well, so really.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, right, after 50 odd years of support Newcastle, right, I'm going to say what happens next season if the takeover doesn't come about. We'll have still Joelinton and the motley crew there, Shelby and Brucey in charge. There you go. So what's the scenario then?
Well, it's relegation, isn't it? I mean, I think we're all we all realise that. I think I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that he's already said he wants to build a side around Shelby next season. Which is, I was astounded when he brought that out. He said what he said was the 6 players he wants to build the side around, which included Almiron, who's been terrible of late, and included John Joe Shelby. Now, Shelby is slow enough as it is now, and I think his legs will have completely gone next season. I honestly, if there's no takeover, then I honestly think the better sides that are coming up this season will be better than us. Out of the Championship, I certainly believe Norwich will be around us. I'm not sure about Watford, to be honest. Watford, they could be anywhere. It depends how many managers they go through next season. And also, obviously, if the likes of Brentford come up, then Brentford, we know, can give us a game. Even their reserve side can beat us. It is very worrying.
What I'm interested in is how many season ticket holders will renew. There you go. They've got 10,000 freebies in last season.
Yep.
Right? And I packed in and I vowed I would never go back there unless that idiot was out the door. And I'm sure there'll be many like this as well.
Oh, definitely.
I love the crack. I love the day out. It's a day out for me because I live in Scotland and everything else, but it's just not worth it at the end of the day.
Jayde, what do you say to that? Because I know I've said a few times that that I don't mind either way. If people have an opinion to stay away, that's their prerogative, and they're perfectly entitled to do that. And the people that go are perfectly entitled to do that. And Mike, I appreciate and actually welcome your stance. You've said you're not going back till he's gone, and that's fine, and that's good on you. Because there has been people in the past say I'm going to stay away, but haven't, and then said vice versa. But I honestly think that proof was in the pudding for me, Jayde. The fact that they couldn't sell the 10,000 originally for last night's game.
Yeah, I think when you got Bruce in, I think that was the final nail in the coffin, wasn't it? I think it just took people over the edge, and how we've been treated this season, how we've done this season has just literally been kind of the catalyst that's kind of brought everything down. And I feel, obviously, we haven't had football matches to go to this season. Very lucky for Bruce, but I think the chance to go obviously probably appealed to a lot of people because they've missed it. And it is something I miss. I will mix. I've stayed away since since Rafa left, because I thought, to me, that broke my heart. And I was sick of this club breaking my heart over and over again. And I thought, once Bruce is in, I was like, I'm not paying to watch that shite live. Like, I know I pay me Sky subscriptions because it's obviously on the telly and I'll watch it, but I'm not paying to watch that live. And kind of, I'll always support the club no matter what situation they're in. They could be in League Two for all I care, and I'll support them and I'll watch them, and they'll always have me support. But Ashley's kind of dug the knife in too far this time, and I feel when we get a takeover, everyone will be happy, back will go over. But even if this PIF doesn't go through, he needs to be looking at other buyers. He can't just put all of his eggs in one basket, because he needs to go. And it's as simple as that. We're a fan base that are divided at the moment. I'll never have my opinion. Like, if people want to go to the match, good for them, have a good time. Like, that's never been not my business. But for me, it's just, he hurt us too much now, and it got too much for me.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. And I think, that's how a lot of fans are feeling. Well said. Judy said, my audio went funny there. Half your family are Mackhams. Oh, you must have said Moroccans. Very funny. Honestly, I'm belly laughing, Judy.
That's good.
Give out. Jake says, Paul, your sympathies for Sunderland sound as sincere as Steve Bruce during his press conferences. I don't have any sympathy for Sunderland at all. In fact, I find it rather funny, given the absolute tosh that they were coming out with halfway through the season. Yes, all hail King Paul of Morocco. Ryan says, Paul, the fitness is down to Bruce. He does it at every club, but it's also the training ground, pools, in bins. All they have is bikes and treadmills. Look at the state-of-the-art ones. Well, we've spoke about the training ground for years. Chippers, good evening. Yes, that's you. Well, you see, I'm sly at doing that. I just thought you might have come out with something towards Judy again, but it isn't a dating site, mate. It's a football show. What did you think of last night?
Well, I was at work last night, so I watched it this morning. I just thought it was pedestrian. I thought they were there for the taking. Once we went 1-0 up, and again we just thought we'll stroll around, and it was so boring. It was like, we had enough chances to score goals, but again, it's just lethargic, and I just think it's just honest. It's like they need a rocket up their arse, because they should be racking goals up against teams like these for fun, but they're just happy. They're just happy to stroll about. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Annie, you've obviously seen the teams that are coming up from the Championship. As things stand now, are those teams better than Newcastle in your opinion?
I mean, each team in the Plus at the moment have different qualities. Swansea can defend more. Brentford have a brilliant striker. Barnsley a high press, and Bournemouth have just got attacking quality everywhere. But for Norwich, I think they'll definitely do better than last time they're in the Premier League, because I just felt like they were not willing to take the risk in the Premier League. And Watford, I think Xisco, the manager, will do well, but I'm not sure how well to keep them up. I think that could be again, as you said, Watford merry-go-round with the managers. Yeah. And at the moment, to be honest, I think Swansea are going to get up, and if they do that, they've got an excellent manager there, Steve Cooper, who knows how to defend, and they've got attacking quality as well, but they've not got a striker. So I think Norwich will do well, but I'm not sure about Watford, and depends on which team come up from the Championship, to be honest.
Billy says, if we get Bruce out the door and he gets another job, we might be able to shift Joelinton, because he's the only one incompetent enough to buy him. I don't think Bruce will get another job in a million years. I think those days have gone. I think his next job will probably be the Sunday League.
You see, now that's a thing. And club is going to come running after him when they're in trouble in the Championship, or even in the Premier League.
Who in God Almighty's sake is going to come running for Steve Bruce? We are the only club in the history of football who is chased after this monumental bell end, Annie, and he is not going to be chased after. The only teams that are going to chase after him are Sunday League teams like Greg's United, and they are not going to be a Football League team in a million years.
But he's the only one that would come and work under Ashley.
Yeah, because he's a yes man and he just saw pound signs. That's why.
If he goes, who do you get under Ashley?
Nigel Pearson. No, I'm joking. Keep your hands off him.
Well, You know, I mean, managers. Eddie Howe, would he come and work under Ashley? Probably not. Chris Wilder is the only one I can think of that probably would. Which is why we all know that if the takeover doesn't go ahead, Steve Bruce is still going to be manager. There's no doubt about that. I just found it funny the way Annie says somebody will come running for him. I mean,
they will though. They will. That is literally what's going to happen, because a team that probably comes up from the Championship or going to be in a relegation battle next year will come after him, because that is what's going to happen.
Well,
they've got limited options.
You know, please God they do, and he leaves Newcastle United, because
they're not going to pay Newcastle money if he's free. Yes, but if he's not free, then nobody will come chasing after him. Obviously.
Yeah, go on, Dave.
Well, I think Annie's got a point. Sadly, if he was to leave here, the takeover happened, a Championship or a League One team would probably go for him. God knows why, but I think they do. I mean, you're right. Sunday he's probably where he should be in many respects for the way he works. Actually, Sunday would probably treat him, because it's only 2 afternoons a week they train. Some of them, bless them. You know, so that would fit with his ethos quite well. But I do think he'll get another job. I don't think he should get another job, because he's been absolutely woeful. You know, he showed how poor he is. Worst Premiership manager. All the stats go against him. Horrendous. But I think he might get another job, and somebody's daft enough to take him.
There's only one man that's going to get another job, and that's the one that's bottled West Brom last night. That's it.
That's true. Yes.
No, what?
And he bottled it. He bottled it. Big Sam has bottled it because he
bottled it.
He did not.
He's bottled it.
He
had 1 year left on his contract and he's broke it.
Come on, Annie. Why has he not bottled it? Why is it? If you're going to speak some good words about Sam feckin' Allardyce on this show, you better make sure that they're decent words, and you've got a point.
Okay, right. First of all, West Brom are a very, very basket case club. They just do not know how to run their club properly. They've got extortionate amount of high wages. The likes of Robson Kano are on 60 grand a week. The likes of Callum Robinson are on 35 grand a week, who have done pretty much nothing all season except for when Sam Allardyce has come in. Shock.
Yeah.
The likes of Pereira are going to go. Yokoslu, Maitland-Niles, Digne, and probably Johnston are going to leave. Who are they necessarily going to raise about 50 million from? We saw Brentford raise 60 million. Watkins and Benrahma. Norwich sold Maddison, got 40 million, nearly 40 million. And Leeds sold Wood, got promoted the next season. It's literally if you're going into a club and you want to make a difference, you need your own players. And the fact that West Brom were in such a desperate situation, and Big Sam got some decent players on loan, I think it was actually credit to him. He didn't really have his team. He had Bilic's team. Okay. He had Slaven Bilic's team, who were in a better position.
Who were in a better position.
But it wasn't his team, though. Bilic played a system which was just non-existent. Okay, he wasn't even.
But they were in a better position than when Allardyce took over, and Allardyce has took them down.
No, I'm not having that at all.
Yeah. I'm not. Hang on. Whoa. Annie, you're saying that obviously the loan players are going to go, etc. So in a way, we are right, because Allardyce has bottled it because he knows he can't he's incapable of getting the players he needs in the Championship. So he's chickened out of it.
It's not his fault, though, is it? It's not his fault. The
loan players are going to go back. It's too good for the league. It's got to be Allardyce because he's turned around.
Walked away.
I'm not good enough to get West Brom back because I won't be able to attract the players, and the players won't want to play my dinosaur football. They don't want to play Jurassic Park just as much as they don't want to play for Bruce.
Did you see?
Because these dinosaur managers is shocking. They're terrible. They need out of the game. Roy Hodgson has done the decent thing. He's gone out to pasture. You know, he's gone to stables now and he's here for the rest of his life, shouldn't with stable. He's done the right thing. That's what the other two T-Rexes should do.
do you know what the board said to Big Sam about I think it was 2 weeks before the West Ham game? They said he will not have the funds if they don't sell Matheus Pereira, if they don't sell Sam Johnson, and they don't sell goddamn bloody Darnell Furlong, who is awful. Okay, these are the players they mentioned. And they have to sell them, otherwise they will not give Big Sam any funds. Obviously, any manager will get annoyed if you sell your three best players.
He's took the huff. He's took the huff and he's walked. That's exactly what he's done. He's took the huff and walked
parachute payments in that. He gets parachute payments, so you have money.
Yes, Chippers, parachute payments, etc., etc. And because Sam Allardyce isn't given a silver spoon like he's been given at other clubs to be this fantastic man who avoids relegation, because he's gone in and said, I just want millions, I want loan players in. And because he'll not get that next season, he's got a challenge ahead of him. He's bottled out and walked. Simple as that. He's a coward, just like our manager. The two T-Rexes who don't belong in football anymore. They should be sitting in a field eating grass. Pastures out. Simple as that. Anyway, let's move on.
Unbelievable.
Paul, don't sit on the fence, mate, whatever you do, you know.
Well, Dave, I think you know me well enough by now. I don't sit on no fence.
No, I don't. No, I mean, you're right. And I think, I get where Annie's come from, but Allardyce is the same category as Bruce Dinosaur. And did he see his interview after the game last night? And I watched it. And I was thinking, good God, man, what are you on about? It was embarrassing. It really was to be a Premiership. I don't know. He's at the end of the season, so he's still a Premiership manager. The things he was saying, it was just embarrassing. And then he was on Talk Shite earlier on, wasn't he, saying a similar thing?
They couldn't wait to get him on, could they? They couldn't bloody wait.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
I think they were trying to get the violin for him, weren't they?
Do you know what? I had a mini one this morning. I thought I was going to pull out my shoe and play for him, but my God. Annie, I know you like sticking up for championship teams, which West Bromwich Albion are now, but you're having a mare tonight, son. You are having a mare.
I stick up for my point, and I don't believe I'm having a mare.
Annie, you stick up for your point, and I'm proud of you for doing that. Your point is bullshit, but I'm proud of you. Judy says, legitimate devil's advocate question. Can anyone make an argument for defending Bruce? A convincing one. We stayed up, but only because three teams did so disastrous. I don't get how people can love him. Annie, seeing as you're in love with Jurassic Park managers, can you give us a positive on Steve Bruce?
You stayed up.
Cheers,
God, man.
Annie,
put him in jail. Put him in jail.
Annie. You know, I think the world of you, Annie, but my God, you are having a stinker tonight, my friend. You are having a stinker.
David, isn't he?
It was obviously sarcastic.
I've just caught a glimpse of Archer in the waiting room, and I have no words. Just no words. How many goals do you think Wilson would score in the current Manchester City team? Mike, I'll let you answer that one.
No, I don't know. I think I'm not sure. I think he's got what he wants to do with Newcastle. He can play where he wants and dive in and out. I think Man City will be a bit more structured, and he might struggle a wee bit because there's too many stars on the team. He's a star at Newcastle, and he lights the game up. Yeah. Now that's the difference. You get a good player like that going to a big pool, and he'll be on the bench most of the season, I would suggest.
Yeah. Annie, like Demba Ba, wasn't it? We went to Chelsea.
Exactly. Annie, due to overwhelming messages coming in my way, you are being given a 5-minute penalty box penalty. See you in a minute. So that was Annie. He's unfortunately received a penalty box. And we have Ryan from Canada. Good evening, Ryan.
Yo,
hey, Ryan.
No polar bear on the head tonight, my friend?
What do you mean? I have it on my jacket.
He's just an animal killer. You really are. What did you think of last night's game?
Exciting first half. It was pretty boring second half. I almost fell asleep. Well, I said I came and said a comment like, the team is fucking set up to not lose, and it's annoying. Like, you could tell that we're too defensive yesterday for no fucking reason. It's the second last game of the season, nothing to play for at all. And fucking Miguel Almiron, the guy looks so clueless as a left center mid in that system.
Yeah.
I'm the only like for me as well, like Alan Saint-Maximin, he cuts in like too much, but it actually worked yesterday because he baited in like 5 players, and that just gave in all the space for Jacob Murphy to put a ball in for Joe Willock.
Yeah, that's what he certainly needs to do more. Paul says best signing we could make would be Bielsa from Leeds. That's how to play football without any stars. I'd say we have a slightly better squad too. Might be a shock having to train so often though. Couple of you shaking your head there, Chippers.
He's not going to work with Mike Ashley, is he? I mean, no way.
Well,
He's got a good thing at Leeds, and he's getting backed by the owner, so he's not going to
he's
leave
definitely he's definitely going to get backed, and they're going to chase Europa League next year. That's what proper clubs should be doing.
But you know what gets me? What really gets me is I'm quite annoyed with Bielsa in a way because he's been here. What is it? The second season now?
3 years.
3 years, and he still does interviews in foreign language.
Well, didn't Pochettino do that?
Well, no.
People say he knows how to speak English. He just doesn't.
I know. I'd
Jake
just
Snow
love to
in the
hear him
chat.
have an interview in English because I think it's very disappointing that he hasn't.
Well, I mean, the best is when he tries saying Ipswich. He says Ipswich.
I said Ipswich, didn't
Yeah, that's a good point. Annie has just sent me a message in the private comments saying he doesn't understand. He's stuck up for a man who resigned on good terms and is a good manager in capital letters. Annie, you're pushing your luck for a 10-minute penalty, son.
That's a 20-minute one, that.
Yeah,
it's a big power play now.
Yeah. Jake says, sorry, Paul, but Annie's right. He actually turns up in the Championship. Take it from the fans who've been watching it recently. He didn't want to go back to NUC. He wanted to stay at West Brom, but Bruce stopped it. He's talking about, obviously, Dwight Gale. Jade, what's your opinion?
On Dwight Gale?
Yes.
I was too busy laughing, so I was laughing at Chippers all this time. But
yeah, well, I have to look at Archer in the waiting room. That's worse than looking at Chippers, to be honest. Chippers is waiting for another message from Judy.
He literally like,
I am waiting.
And see me last.
Got me ring here.
I've
gone close. I looked for her, so
not happening, Chippers.
No, it's
disappointed. Draw me sorrows tonight.
Oh God, never mind, son. But no, I think he's well past it now. I think we will be looking to get maybe $1 million for him if we're lucky, but he can't do it in the Championship, and I think that is his level. And I think he would come good for a Championship club. I think he will do well there, but I feel like he said, his heart's not in Newcastle anymore. But at the end of the day, why should it be? Because he's kind of in and out of the squad. He hasn't been given much of a chance when we're being in the Premier League because he's not a Premier League striker. But like Joelinton's had a good run now, and is he any worse than Joelinton? Like, could have given him a bit of more time. So I don't blame him for not being happy here. But I feel the Championship's much more his level.
So basically, what you're trying to say, Jade, is he's shit.
Yeah, basically, not Premier League material.
We're not getting money for Dwight.
Behind Joelinton, though.
Yeah,
His contract's up June 30th.
If you're stuck behind Joelinton, you must be some bag of hammers, by the way. Joelinton shows more grit in defending out of his own box and going forward. I genuinely feel he's not any sort of forward player. Some might say he's not even a footballer, but there's a way to use him. Just the best way to use Joelinton is leave him out.
Don't even know what he is.
Nah.
I think he's been told to play him. I think he's been told to play him every game, though.
Yeah.
I think Mike Ashley
I'm not defending Bruce, but I'm just saying I think there's something behind that he has to play that player all the time.
I agree, Mike. 100%. I've said that all season, to be honest.
I think Mike Ashley signed Joelinton and ASM because they're future stars on Ultimate Team and FIFA 19.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. That's how we do our bloody scouting, without a doubt. Jake says, seriously, what does Bruce do during pre-game warm-ups? Does he stick on his old Jane Fonda VHS from the 80s and say, here, lads, do 5 minutes of this? Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we were talking about
5 minutes is.
We were talking about getting Mr. Motivator in last night on the live reaction show. You can just see them lined up on the halfway line on the training ground, and Mr. Motivator with his ghetto blaster on his shoulder. Yeah, come on, people! All of this rubbish. Honestly.
The club's too cheap to hire a hype man.
Yeah, exactly. What's lacking regarding fitness is a professional medical staff that Rafa brings in his camp. Before and after Rafa, our injuries were always woeful. In Rafa's time, we had the least amount of injuries. Interesting. What on earth is that? Never mind. Bruce does nothing in training. Stephen Gerrard from Rangers can take Rangers into new heights. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. I think I'd love to have Gerrard. Chippers, you're getting me on. Yes, you've been on a while.
That was about an hour ago.
Stephen Gerrard in for Newcastle. We would absolutely love that. I mean, Dave, what kind of... I mean, Frank Lampard actually has been spoken about going to Palace. He was spotted at the Palace ground last night. It seemed like a good fit for him. But Stephen Gerrard in Newcastle after a takeover is something I'd be prepared to look at, because I think he could attract players, big players, and he'd have everybody behind him as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not sure he would come, but I think with a takeover, because obviously then there'd be financial batting to get good players in. He's got a great reputation in the sport. You know, he's known worldwide. So yeah, he could definitely work. There's no doubt about it. I think I would like to see somebody alongside him who's got a little bit more longevity to guide him through, as he's still learning. But he's done fantastic up there. So absolutely, yeah, take no bother at all. I mean, I'd take any one of us six ahead of Bruce at the minute. So.
Well, yeah, anybody better than Bruce. Geordie says that no look, Stephen, that no look pass from ASM yesterday was absolute filth. No words to describe it. That was short, that was shithousery at its highest order. That it really was. Bede said the takeover is our last hope. Can't think of another depressing season under this embarrassing management. We won't have it so easy next season. Yeah, the fans will be back as well, so it'll make it even tougher. Come on. The only players I'd build a squad around are Willock, Wilson, Saint-Maximin and Dubravka. We need to rebuild our future around them. Mike, do you think any of the youngsters will get a chance next season?
If Bruce is in charge, no.
Yeah.
Full stop.
I agree. I mean, he doesn't play them anyway, does he? It's just ridiculous. We may see Anderson on Sunday.
It'll be Shelby in the same old people who are supporting him all the time and saying that he's doing a good job. And that's what it'll be. That's what I'm worried about next season, to be quite honest.
Fair enough. Mike, give us a prediction for Sunday before you head off, mate.
I think it'll be 2-0 to Newcastle.
And who's going to score?
Two own goals.
That's the only one that gets you, isn't it? That question. You're like,
I'll go for ASM and Willock. There you go.
Right, spot on. Well, thanks for coming on, Mike. Get yourself back on the next Tuesday's fan forum, mate.
Will do. Take care, everybody.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye for now.
Bye,
See you later, man.
So that was a first timer and Dave. Nice to see some first timers coming on the show. We've got about 15-20 minutes left, so if you want to come on, the link is at the top of the live comments. Just click on it, put your details in, and you'll come through to the waiting room. So look, Derek says Paul Shelby had a good 2 days training with his Zimmer frame and looked a bit sharper last night.
He says his teeth came out.
Oh no, his teeth went flying, didn't it? Agree with Mike. How much longer can fans put up with this treatment, die-hard fan or not? Well, we've got a long time to put up with him. I'm telling you now. Bruce isn't going anywhere. Certainly under Ashley. Evening, half an hour later, is watching the League Two playoffs. Have a soft spot for Tranmere, as lots of Tranmere relatives. Poor result for them. Sorry to hear that. Oh my God, give our Judy, man.
Oh God!
Stop it.
Chippers is in the penalty box because that's just disgusted me to the inner core of my soul. Next on, we have David. Good evening.
Good evening.
Speaking of making me cry, what have you got to say from last night?
Well, I couldn't see from like level 7. You know, I was in level 7 last night. So
right.
It's quite from where I was sitting. I was quite high up.
So are you saying you didn't see any of the game because you were so high up?
I seen the game. It's like from a
what,
distance.
You didn't know who the Newcastle players were because you were so far away?
From a distance, you cannot describe the game.
It is high.
You got bloody glasses, man.
I didn't have my glasses with us last night.
Why, if you can't see, why did you wear your glasses? You were on level. You knew you were going into level 7. You put your goggles on so you can see further. I mean, I wear them as well, David. Right? I wear contact lenses, but to be honest, if I was in level 7, I'd take fucking binoculars with me. But I'm trying to ask you who you thought was the better player, and you're telling me you didn't know who was on the fucking pitch. What's the point of spending money to go and watch a game and you don't remember to take your glasses? I'll tell you what, you remind me of that thing in Notting Hill with Hugh Grant when he goes to the cinema without his glasses, right? And he has to end up taking his swimming goggles because they're the only ones with prescription on. David, I mean, did you know who Saint-Maximin was? Did you know who?
Oh, I knew who Saint-Maximin was.
Shelby was, his head beaming, shining off the floodlights.
Oh, you know who Shelby is. He's the only one with the baldy.
David, please.
I love how he's not laughing. He's just got a smile on his face.
Yeah, I'm at the point of a mental breakdown here, David. I mean, if you're in level 7, okay, I mean, did you notice anybody playing football for Newcastle last night? You know, there was like players, little dots running around the pitch. Were you able to tell who was Newcastle and who was Sheffield United?
Yeah.
That's good. Man. Well, that's a start. Right. So how did you think the players in black and white played? I know you can't identify any players. Did you actually know the starting 11?
Yes.
Right. But you just couldn't make out who they were from where you were sitting.
It's probably because of the match day program he read in, but if he didn't read that, you had no clue.
I just it
is high up there, like it is hard to see.
From a distance,
you could definitely see a 5 at the back, because that's for sure.
From a distance, Dave, the world is blue and green as well. But you know,
you can definitely see a park the bus shithouse tactics from Bruce from level.
Did you see 11 black and white players behind the ball?
From where I was sitting, you could see them on the bus station.
What? Why would you want to look at the bus station when you're in there to watch the foot? You haven't been for a year and a half. Why would you want to look at the views in Newcastle, David?
No, but that's I'm trying.
No, I'm done.
Anyway, how do you think Shelby played, David? You know, that bald one with the floodlights banging off his head?
I thought he had a great game.
A great game?
Yeah.
That's probably because that one tackle he'd made after like retreat ball or whatever.
That's all you can expect, really, isn't it?
It's like 15 minutes in or some shit.
He did now score a goal.
I actually thought that tackle was an excellent tackle, but I want to see more of that from Shelby. Yeah, I really do.
When he sprayed that ball out, to the right-hand side.
Are you sure it was the right-hand side, Dave? You're a long way away.
Definitely the right
So who would you even pass to? Because I don't even remember him doing that.
Oh, I'm not okay.
Don't die on me, Jayde.
I'm not okay.
Gerrard has really taken Rangers forward and developed some very talented stars. I think he's ready for the Premier League, but he deserves better than Ashley, much as I'd like to see him at NUFC. Yeah, he'd only come if it was a takeover there. I wonder how Bruce will deal with actual questions from reporters and the media come the new season.
What do you want to let him speak, will you?
Well, no, I put that on Twitter yesterday.
It's infuriating, man. It's rude.
There should be new reporters every time. It's always the same old faces of fucking Alistair Watt. I mean, I don't mind Keith Downey, and then like who else? Craig Hope sometimes. All these other random.
No, Craig Hope's not allowed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Craig Hope's never going back to the Magic Kingdom for quite a while, I imagine. I mean, Dave, what do you think about Bruce not letting the reporters finish the questions?
Yeah, I mean, it's Jayde said, it's rude. You know, it's from a professional person. It's just not acceptable. Funny enough, I haven't watched these press conferences from the other day because I watched the previous one on NUFC TV,
Yeah.
And I was frankly embarrassed. I mean, but the thing that annoyed me, he'd obviously been told, somebody had a word in his satellite and said, stop doing it, because as the commentator, well, the interviewer was asking her a question, it seemed going, desperate to get in, and that little voice on your shoulder saying, no, not yet. It's an absolute disgrace. And I mean, and banning, pressmen, like Craig Hope and the rest of it, it's just appalling. It's just, and the other thing is, we said this a couple of weeks ago, what was it? Young Mr. Penfold said, we're going to be much more open and honest with the fans. We're going to communicate more. Well, how's that gone? It hasn't. And this is just more of the same. He's not allowing, teams to pressmen to ask the right question, because he splits his dummy out and just bans them. It's disgraceful. It really is.
It is. Jake says, Paul, Annie is right again. Championship clubs will come running for Bruce and he'll lead them to mid-table at best. He's the second-tier Allardyce. Lead them to mid-table at best in the Championship. That's his level.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter who the manager is. The best managers require a healthy transfer budget and investment in the youth squad and training facilities. We all know how that goes. Yes, that's right. But a good manager. Oh my God. Sammy David?
We should have left him at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we all do. Big Sam should never have left Bolton. I know, shock horror. Jayde, behave yourself. Before long, Annie will support the Toon, the amount of Toon review content he gets himself on. Yeah, we'll convert you. Anyway, Dave, before you head off, my man, prediction for Sunday?
You know what I'm going to say? I say it every week, Paul, 2-1 to us. I think with any luck, it'll be not the two players who played really well last night. That'll be ASM and Miggy.
Right.
I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I think Willock's going to get one. I would certainly think so. Yeah, I'm going to go to 2-1. Frankly, where Fulham are going to get a goal from, I know I said 2-1. That's what I normally take anyway. It doesn't matter who we play. I can't see Fulham scoring, to be honest. I'm just being kind to them. They're just not good enough. They've lost the plot big time. I still think they're not a bad team, but they're just not performing. It's written on the cards, but they shall come on and score a bloody hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. You can see it now. Right, well, Dave, enjoy your weekend, mate. Make sure you tune into the show tomorrow and have some comments in there as well.
Will do.
And we'll see you hopefully on Fan Forum on Tuesday night.
Yeah, look forward to it, mate. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Take care, Dave.
Look
to the wife. Dave.
Yeah, thanks.
So that was Dave. We'll bring Annie back in. Annie, welcome back from Siberia. Thomas says, Paul, any chance the King Mohammed is your doppelganger? You're funny, aren't you? Just wait till I come face to face with you, lot. I'll tell you what you want to say to me, please. Big Sam's never seen a salad. He said Allardyce took them down. Bilic would have been a better option. Listen, we're not getting back into this because Annie's just returned from the penalty area. West Brom should have stuck with Bilic, thought he did a decent job. Jake says, poor Annie, give it up, pal. Paul loves to hate Big Sam, the naughty dinosaur.
Yeah.
The naughty dinosaur. Yeah. West Brom took a gamble with Allardyce as luck ran out.
What luck?
He's been lucky all his career, man.
All right, let's not get there, boys. Come on now.
He's not. I'm not doing anything. I'm not saying anything.
David, I quite agree with you. He was shite when we had him as well, and he's still to this day. He's got away with it. James says, how much do you value Willock at? I'd probably say he's about 30 million at the minute.
Yeah.
35.
35.
Yeah,
pushing
it. Arteta said yesterday on BT that they were looking at 35 million.
Well, I still think 35 million we should pay it. Allardyce doesn't want to manage a team in the Championship. He looks like a crying T-Rex. James says, how's Pearson got on at Bristol City, Annie?
Please, I've wanted him at this club too.
No comment. No comment.
Tom says, the Guardian, when my mouse decides to... it's not going to work, is it? For some reason, it's not... Oh, there you go. The Guardian had an article about Bruce being a dinosaur manager 10 years ago. But Big Sam has a 100% win record with England, though. Some boy. Yeah, one game. Yeah. At least Roy Hodgson had bloody sense and retired, unlike Dino Allardyce. Jake says Allardyce left because these firefighting jobs pay big money and he's guaranteed at least one every 2 seasons. That's why he doesn't want to manage in the Championship. Yeah, he just wants to come to the rescue. Yeah, so we'll see. Chippers is coming back. Chippers, welcome back to the world of the living.
Hello.
The Guardian thinks anyone outside Kensington's a dinosaur. Allardyce has a 100% record with England. Never won the World Cup or Euros. Give the bloke some credit. Roy Hodgson at least comes over as being a nice bloke, unlike Bruce and Allardyce, who are utter arrogant ball bags.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dear Mags, your Bruce-inflamed emotions getting the better of reason, and he won the battle of facts there. Jake, I could start for him. How are you? Don't back up a Bristol City fan.
Okay.
Wilson would hit double figures between 15 to 25 goals at Man City with the service he would provide. Jim says Canadian ham or Canadian Ryan?
Both.
I'm freezing my arse off just looking at Ryan. I know he always looks like some... he really just, every time he comes on the show, he looks like this little orphan Oliver Twist, doesn't he? Like he's been locked in the basement. So have you been kidnapped, Ryan?
It's 30 degrees outside when there's like no sun out, but it's just cold in my basement.
It's in a basement. Why in a basement?
It isn't a basement, Ryan. It's a dungeon.
You come to North America, it's pretty normal to have something like this.
Yeah, I know. But your summers are red up, though. That's a difference.
Just as long as John and Joelinton aren't there either.
No. I'd sooner read The Guardian than the shite like The Sun. Utter garbage with the reading levels of a 5-year-old. The Athletic is where it's at, though. Superb. Yeah, The Athletic is good. I blame Mike Ashley. He's not giving managers like Rafa or Bruce any resources. He only thinks and always thought about himself. Premier League already won next season. Harry Kane to Monopoly Chester City for a record fee of 180 million. If they get Kane, we may as well all go home, I think. Fair enough. Yeah. Judy says, Chippers, for the love of God, don't show me your ring. What the hell? Tom says, I'd agree. Gale is an excellent championship player. Can't cut it in the Premier League, though. Chris, another Leeds fan. Ale, Paul, and all you guys. Well, guys, I'm dead chuffed with our season. We could finish 8th. How insane would that be? Thanks for all the laughs and anger I've shared with you throughout the year. You're welcome, Chris.
You what?
I'll
try to rub it in by them finishing 8th.
Yeah, well.
Well done.
To be honest, after the shit they've been through, to be fair, I'm really pleased for Leeds. You know what I mean? And it just shows you what a bit of ambition can do with the right people there. Bielsa speaks some English, but isn't comfortable doing it to the media because he doesn't want to be misunderstood. Personally, I think he does it so he knows he can't be caught out by vulture journals. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Connor says, well, Jayde, Dwight Gale, time is gone, without a doubt. Tom, FIFA 19, however, that's a bit recent. I reckon Brucey scouts VHS tapes of the big match circa 1988.
I kind of weird.
I haven't tried to sign Roger Miller.
I think he's talking about the comment I made about Joelinton ASM being future stars on FIFA.
Yeah, that's a good point. David. Who?
He was absolutely awful yesterday.
Who was?
Dwight Gale.
Oh,
well, the shit with
ASM, that was like...
I don't even think he touched the ball. I don't remember. He just made a run. He made a run to the box, and that's it.
You can clearly see Dwight Gale. He's the only fucking fat cunt on the pitch.
Oh. David!
It was going Ramsey then.
I know. But how the hell would you know? You were too busy church spotting, for Christ's sake.
How much nicotine is in that?
Shelby had a good game as well. Are we aware?
How much
did have a good game?
Hey, David, how much nicotine's in that vape?
Better game in Dwight Gale.
How much nicotine's in your vape, David? What flavor also?
He doesn't know. He didn't have his glasses on when he put it in.
You know what? I just recovered, man. I'm smelling.
Right,
Shelby that had a good game. He couldn't see who was playing.
Well, you can tell Shelby because the floodlights are bouncing off his head. So you probably know Shelby. I mean, David, I'm still struggling to how you knew you were going to level 7 and didn't take your glasses. I mean, did you actually? Sorry?
These ones aren't long distance.
We need long distance ones because you couldn't fucking see the players.
I'm waiting for them to phone us to tell us.
David,
No, I can't do this anymore.
Anyway, David, give us a scoreline for Sunday.
Oh no!
Sorry. And who's going to score?
Shelby.
Willock.
Yeah.
Saint-Maximin.
Yeah. Saint-Maximin won't be playing. I don't know whether you noticed, David. He went off injured last night. He slipped on the pitch, David. I know it was too far away for you to friggin' see it, but he did go off.
I think that was just cramp.
It wasn't cramp. He done his calf, man. David.
Oh dear God.
I think. I understand.
I think David always likes to sit sideways because he's trying to model for John Joe Shelby. He's never joined StreamYards in a chair. He's always sat sideways, like on his bed or something.
I know he's like modeling. He's modeling for a catalogue. But anyway, David, right? When you watch the game on Sunday, wear your glasses and make sure you know who we are playing and you know how we played, how the players did, and how the players got injured. Right?
You see a Shelby as well.
Joe Willock last night went off with cramp. Saint-Maximin did his calf. Right? So, just, I know you were a long way away and you were bird watching and looking at the spirals of all the beautiful churches around the northeast. And my God, that roof's looking a bit rusty these days. But there was a football match going on, Dave. But thank you very much for joining. Get yourself back on next week, David, won't you?
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm in a family box now.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Not long till Shelby play out the season next week, he says.
I have no words. I actually have no words.
I think if John Joe Shelby's ever on the program for match day, that's going to be his porn catalog.
I mean, why would you go to level 7 when you can't fucking see? It makes no sense.
Why would you go to match if you can't see?
At least you don't need glasses to see anywhere from our ground.
I mean, David should have hired one of those people that describes games to like blind people.
But if he knew he was going to level 7, why? Why? Knowing that you can't see what's going on. I mean, level 7. You want, Annie?
I'm going to head off.
All right, mate. Take care.
Probably for the best.
Bye. Buddy.
I mean, you probably can't see much, but I'm sure an 80-year-old can see the tactics and like the structure of the team, being at 5 at the back and defensive from all the way up in the gods.
Listen, I know being in level 7 you can hardly see anything, but when you can't fucking
that's why
see,
I used to sit,
properly,
but it is.
I mean,
you can't tell who's who, just about.
I think level 7's a good view actually because you get to see the whole team you get to see the formations and things.
Yeah, but you have to make sure you have to make sure you can see what's going on. Not like little,
I can see
little
I'm not
things running around. I mean, Dave's saying Saint-Maximin went off with fucking cramp. I mean, come on.
I just love how he said it's like, what would you think of the game? I was in level 7. It's like,
I don't know. I didn't think.
Okay. Like,
I couldn't believe it. Dave, how do you think the game went? I was in level 7.
I don't know.
I mean,
the thing is, though, he said Shelby had a good game. How was he laughing? He didn't say anything.
I asked him what he thought of the game.
He just has a smirk on his face. He doesn't laugh. It's the best.
I asked him what he thought of the game. I was in level 7. I mean, nowhere. Come on. Speaking of dingbats, good evening, Archer. What the hell? You're wearing the mannequin yet, Oh, God almighty.
Is this before Watershed?
Well, we can't actually see because he's lying down. He just looks like some...
He's always lying down.
I don't know.
I feel sorry for that chicken on his head.
And I mean, it lived a fantastic life. It really did. Anyway,
worse to wear now, isn't it?
Yeah. Just to be clear, I'm not defending Joelinton. I'm in the camp that doesn't accept him as a footballer, but realistically, we're not going to get rid of him, and he's part of the 25-man squad. Judy says Joelinton has either got compromising nudes of Bruce and Ashley, or he catfished them to get a work visa, and he's really a waiter from Benidorm. Wouldn't put it past him. He's certainly not a footballer, I can tell you that
Probably
now.
Shelby does that now.
Exactly. Hi, guys. Great show. Xavi Alonso would be a good choice. What do you think?
I think he's going to Mönchengladbach.
Is he?
Gamble.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because Mönchengladbach's manager, I think, is managing Dortmund next year, so there's a bit of a merry-go-round in Germany.
Yeah. Bruce has more dedication perfecting his apple pies than the team. How are Joelinton's fitness levels so high to start almost every game this season?
John.
It makes you wonder.
It's just John.
Chippers, behave. Archer, what did you think of last night's game?
It's just... At least we got 3 points. That was the main thing. But performance-wise...
second half was dead.
It was shite.
Yeah.
Poor, wasn't it?
Very poor. The only time the young players play a game is like when Hayden is suspended or injured. Judy says, lol, I'm dying. Chippers in the box, level 7 and glasses. David and Paul are both looking like King Mohammed. Don't put me in the same bracket as him. Or I will be. Thomas, you will never get back on this show again. I can guarantee you that. I did actually have respect for you.
Oh my God.
Jake says, David's so gangster.
Ryan's just good.
Chris says, ha ha ha, level 7 fucking got me in tears.
I haven't recovered yet.
David's so funny. Paul says, has Ryan converted his dungeon into a Geordie Statham tribute room yet?
Yes,
yeah, man.
I'm excited to see Hobbs and Shaw too.
Chris says, was he there after the game had finished? Yeah, I reckon he was. I reckon David was there till about 1 o'clock this morning still thinking, has it started yet?
They've took the next
you can just imagine him sitting there. And he gets back to his house about 6 o'clock this morning. He says, I never fucking saw anything. What game of football? They told me there was a match on tonight, and I sat there for fucking hours, and now it happened.
Best money you'll ever give to Mike Ashley is a fan going and not being able to share his opinions on the game.
Did he not get on the Falcons ground instead and realise he was at the wrong ground league?
Maybe he did. He went to Kingston Park.
That's absolutely mental. He gone to the game and he gone to level 7 and he can't see a damn bloody player.
I'm absolutely astounded by that. I'm just absolutely astounded. I mean,
I'm gonna have to watch it back, mate.
I mean, I can't understand. Just when I said to him, what did you think of the game last night, David? I couldn't fucking see. I mean, just that comment got me straight away. Oh, my God. Someone needs to clip Paul's meltdown, put some shades on David in the words of life. Judy, hang in there, Jade. You can do this.
I'm just waiting for you. I'm just waiting for you to do a fan cam or like in real life with David, and he comes up to you. It's the worst. It's the worst fan cam in the world.
I'd knock him out. I'm sorry, but I'd just. I mean, if I interviewed him live there and I said, David, what did you think of the game? I couldn't fucking see. I just punched him. Billy said Shelby did play a great pass out to the right after about 20 seconds. Thomas said, call Jade's cat. He can save her from dying of laughter.
Someone's going to have to.
Paul, you need to do a show with Jade and David. There is much chance of that as me having a vagina. Tom said, Craig Hope, George Coulton, Chris Waugh, Liam Kennedy, Mark Douglas, they're the best of the NUFC press pack. I'd agree with that. Bruce is so far up his own arse, he doesn't listen to anyone, the dickhead. Jonathan, hi, Paul. Good result last night, mate. Certainly was. But I mean, Archie, what did you think of the performance itself?
First half, Saint-Maximin was just like running riots with Sheffield, with the Sheffield United players, and I think it was one point when Saint-Maximin did have the ball. What I love about Saint-Maximin, how he did it, I don't know how. He passed the ball and he looks over at the Leazer's end. How in the hell does he do that?
I mean, I think to be fair, he knew where Murphy was, and it takes some skill to do, but he knew where Murphy was, and he sort of turned away as he kicked it. It was brilliant to watch. I mean,
it's a shame David didn't see it.
I know. Well, poor fella saw now, did he?
Must have been a delayed celebration when the goal went in.
Can you imagine him coming back?
Oh, have we scored? Have we scored?
No, but can you imagine him coming back out of coming back down level 7's elevators, right? And the steward at the bottom goes, "Oh, did you have a good night?" No, I couldn't fucking see anything. You know, you just know.
Dave reminds me of Chris Kamara. It's like, hey Chris, how's the game go? I don't know, Jeff.
He is.
How's the Jeff?
David, Saint-Maximin's gone off injured. Has he? Thought you had fucking Jake says, I think we need a Paul versus Annie Big Sam debate with a neutral board of judges. Fair enough. Billy says, remember Sam Asda Price giving Derby 4 points when he was here? Arse Pond, hippo-heated, fraudulent crook. I don't think Billy liked him too much either.
Oh, God, man.
Sam Allardyce could do a job for Bristol City, but Allardyce is still crap. I'll accept your apology, Thomas. Jake said Tom Lynch agreed. Athletic is where it's at. Jules, good evening, mate. Mark says, Chippers, you're a legend. Oh, please, don't big him up even more. I don't want... Chippers just seems to, you know... Everybody's saying hello to each other now. Can I just say
something regarding David?
That's David.
Can I just say something regarding David?
Yeah.
Ages ago, right? It was pitch black at night, yeah, and I was out for a walk, right? It was pitch black. It was night time, and this bloke came past us, going, "Is it day or night, lad?" And I thought, it's pitch black, and it was 10 o'clock at night. And he went, "Is it day or night?" And I just reminded us of David straight away. Like I thought, honestly,
I thought it was going to be some kind of weird story that you'd made up, like busy bastard. I was like, "Oh, here we go. Where we're going with this?"
Honestly,
no, it's too early for that.
Honestly, just absolutely, just. I mean, you've got to love the bloke though. He's just hilarious.
I don't want to see it.
The thing was, he came on to John's watch. He came on to John's watch along last night, and somebody said,
he was at the match and he was on the watch along.
Well, apparently, this is what I doesn't. But somebody was asking what channel number is Sky Sports Mix, which obviously Newcastle's game was on, and Dave commented, put straight away 416, and I'm thinking. I watch Sky all the time, and I had no idea what Sky Sports Mix channel number is because I never watch it.
I've never heard of it.
So I just think maybe David went to the ground after the match and just found an open door and sat in the stadium for a few hours and said, "It's not fucking happening. There's no match on."
He went before us.
Judy says, "Leave David alone. Watching Bruce Ball without glasses is the only way to enjoy it." That's a good point, actually. Yes, but Judy, the thing is, you know, you have to actually know where you're at. And I don't think David had any Scooby-Doo where he was at last night. I think 1 minute he was at home, next minute he's at the ground. He's bird watching. He's a time trap. He's looking at seagulls. He's looking across the northeast coast. I mean, what the fuck was the man doing? Really?
He was watching the match. He was watching your watch along while he was at the match.
I know. Thomas said, "Salute to the King of Morocco. Thank you, my child." DME David. Dave said, "Good Jade, she's in bits laughing tonight." Yeah. Please do hit the like if you're enjoying this show. It's got a bit crazy.
I can't see anymore. So.
No. Connor said, "I will have had a Gini Wijnaldum up front last night instead of Gale." Well, yeah, but Gini Wijnaldum doesn't play for us. That's a problem. David, what a legend. Derek said, "Put David in the sin bin for a month." I don't think he'd even realise I'd put him in the sin bin and he'd still be sitting there on next week's show.
David,
he wouldn't even know we'd finished broadcasting, man.
David would be the kind of guy to go to a Mike Ashley like protest if there's ever one in the future and watch like some footage from like Sky like helicopter or something when he's in the mix of the crowd.
You wouldn't see it.
Honestly, man.
He sounded like Austin Wenger, didn't he? Sound like Austin Wenger?
Oh, look at there I am.
I'm going to try and get that quote right that he just said there when he said, I didn't fucking see anything. I'm going to try and get that and just play that as one of the, you know, if you get it when we start the quiz in the summer, Jade, You know, we'll play that noise when anybody gets a question wrong. I didn't fucking see it. That would be belting.
Geordie Wenger.
I've seen people use like SoundPad or whatever on StreamYards before.
Yeah.
And they have like a bunch of things on it.
Don't worry, it's in handwriting.
I want on a t-shirt.
Yeah, David's face.
I didn't fucking see it.
David's face, and I didn't fucking see it written on
That's the prize if you're the quickest.
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
a David t-shirt.
When the Toon Review channel starts doing merchandise, that will be one of the first things we'll sell. Or a cap with David's sunglasses. Oh my god!
He says Joelinton was man of the match in the comments.
Oh no! Okay, this guy.
Do you know which Thomas Joelinton was?
He doesn't know he was man of the match. He couldn't fucking
Does
see.
he know he was playing? I didn't know he was playing.
Judy says, "Imagine paying money for someone to describe the game."
Always going back to what I said.
Tom said, "I hate level 7. Admittedly, on a clear day, you can practically see Denmark."
Yeah.
David couldn't see a fucking thing. Never mind Denmark. Judy said, "It's shit. Thanks, describer. 80 quid well spent." They'd only need 3 words.
Football
Dave says, "What the actual fuck, Archer?" Oh Christ! Both Chippers and Archer at the same time. Yes, I know. But to be honest, after David, there's nothing. Nothing. What the fuck, Archer? Holy shit, says Thomas. Thomas says, "Paul and Dave, the new Waldorf and Statler." I'm not a muppet. Please,
oh
Archer,
my god, those two.
Please, Archer, put a robe on. He is the Geordie Borat. Archer looks like he scalped Russ Abbott. Sorry, Paul, I couldn't wait for Monday. Must have had a power cut, David. Power cut, yeah. The place went black. I didn't fucking see it.
Why is it's a freaking chef right behind the stadium? What the hell?
Oh god, my glasses are steaming up. I'm laughing that much. By the way, could you imagine if there was a power cut last night? I said to David, what did you think of the power cut? What did you do when the lights went off? I didn't fucking see it.
What do you mean?
You just know, honestly. Dear God. Oh
God.
Billy says David must have been puzzled after the whistle when Steve Bruce came on to patrol the midfield. Oh God, Schultz, did you check to see if he was with blind chippers?
Who?
The guy that asked if it was day or night.
Oh, he wasn't blind, no. Well, he could see me. So.
Mr. and Mysterious.
There you go. David says Joelinton's my man of the match.
Thank you, David. You've made me nice. I swear to God.
David, he went off at half time, David. I don't know whether obviously you didn't see that because you were so fucking far away. Jake says, seriously, guys, looks like you're stuck with Bruce for another season. Where do you see yourselves realistically in 12 months' time, assuming you spent your average over the past few years?
Well, thanks for bringing it down, Jake. I was happy before.
Not for that, like.
No,
I feel like I'm a bit worried next year because teams like Norwich want to give it like a better go in the Premier League this time.
Yeah.
Judy
says you mock David, but he's mastered the perfect protest dilemma for the fans. Go to the game, but don't watch. Oh my God. Andy says I'm fucking crying here. Love you guys. Thank you. I can't breathe.
David must be. I think David was looking backwards at all the fans.
There's no way he was looking.
Paul, I'm waiting for you to do a match day vlog and have David just
Holy purple.
Oh my God, he's so red.
No, it's just like explode. It's the light.
We've lost him for a while till he recovers.
Yeah, finish the show, please. Fucking hell.
So thanks for joining us.
Hey, Paul, just imagine you doing a match day vlog and David's right beside you, and then it's the halftime. And you ask him, "Hey, David, what do you think of the first half?" I don't know. I was looking at the guy beside me.
Oh, stop it now!
If you caught that live on camera.
David, did you see the players at full time? No, I didn't see them.
He probably thinks there was 52,000 there last night. Oh, Jesus.
A bit quiet.
Holy fuck.
Oh.
I can't see how my glasses have completely steamed up. Hopefully the takeover will have gone through and Bruce will just be a bad memory. We can only hope, though.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, because David, are you sure you were sitting on the
Just look at the sundown.
Oh, God almighty. Oh, look. Sit on the Tyne Bridge. Oh. Andy says you should have a David show. Oh,
no, I'll be too much.
Oh, no.
Just tuned in. Who's the gorgeous redhead? Judy says, who are those bellends doing a pitch invasion? Our side mates.
David didn't say that either.
Did you see the pitch invasion, David? There's 22 fucking people ran on the pitch for 90 minutes.
Did you see the strip, man? Did you see the strip, man, David? No, I didn't see it.
If the takeover goes through, Jesus, I dread to think. I am crying and laughing at the same time. I think I've actually wet myself, but it doesn't matter. Couldn't see the players, but the boats were a nice touch. Fuck's sake. Oh, anyway, that's the end of Fan Forum tonight, guys. We've gone on for an hour and a half. Oh, Christ. I can't fucking breathe. Archer.
Yeah.
Give us a score. Give us a score for Sunday, mate.
Let's go with 2-0.
And the Newcastle, yeah.
2-0 Toon.
Right, and who were the scorers?
I'm gonna go with Jacob Murphy and Almiron.
Right. Derek says, could you imagine David as a trainer? Possibly one of the best comedy shows every game. Can you imagine? There's a player injured, David. I can't fucking see him.
Well, by the way, we've got to sign Joe Willock in the summer, like.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, 100%.
Not only him, we need to get Jeffrey Williams. On a free transfer.
Agent. I knew it was going to happen. We won't sign him in January, so we'll wait till he's a free agent because we're cheap.
JL says, well done, people. Good show. Thank you. Judy says, Fulham 1, Braille Readers 3.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
That's harsh.
Chippers, give us a score prediction, buddy.
I'm going to say a draw. 1-1 draw.
And who's going to score?
For us, Willock. But I probably won't see it because I'll be watching it, but I probably won't see it.
Troll says David would be the perfect man for press conference after the match. Yeah, he's in Arsene Wenger, isn't he? What did you think of the penalty, David? Didn't fucking see it.
I did not see it. I did not see it.
Fulham 2, Newcastle 1 says Jake. David looking the other way. Thomas says, Paul, you like the purple grapes I eat? And I nearly burst me blood vessels there.
Somehow David will sneak in as a Fulham fan for that game and he'll tell us his experience, but it'll be nothing because you're like, I was there, but I didn't see it.
The problem is he'll go to Craven Cottage in July when the season's over and think he's at a football match. He'd be sitting watching the boat race and think, fucking hell, this is a tremendous match, this.
He'll go to Fulham thinking that they'll let him in because he's wearing a black and white shirt, just like Fulham's with white and black almost.
You'll probably go on Saturday and think it's on Saturday instead.
I know. Troll says, great show as always. Chippers makes a good point. A draw would be fitting into this mediocrity. Ryan, give us a score, mate.
I'm going to go 3-0.
And who's going to score?
Fernandez. I'm going to put I don't know, Sean Longstaff maybe if he starts.
Yeah.
And let's go Emil Kraft. Banger outside the box.
Well, he's done it before, so he can do it again. Right, Archer, get yourself back on next week, mate. Get yourself on a bit earlier if you can.
Okay, well done.
I look forward to see what you dress up as next week.
Didn't sound right.
Chippers, get lost. Chippers, thanks for coming on, mate. Get yourself back next week, and hopefully you won't be put in the penalty box for flirting.
I'll be back. I'll see you on Monday. Right.
Take care, mate.
Bye, mate.
And Ryan, you take care, mate. Get yourself back on the fan forum next Tuesday night, matey.
Yep. See you later.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
Bye, mate.
So that is the end of the fan forum. We've gone way over time tonight, but really we had no choice. Loads of guests coming on tonight. Thank you everyone for taking part in the comments as well. I've completely lost the plot here. I don't even know what day it is now.
I can't even speak.
At one stage, I didn't think Jayde was going to get through the show, but she has magnificently pulled herself through it. The most bizarre show I've done in a long time. Yeah, it must. A couple of last comments. Can't understand Fulham mind they got a draw against a strong Man U side. Trolls, wow, even Shelby moves. Said David looking at boat races. Dave says, I'm still bad laughing. Great show, everyone. Thank you. Is Maximin fit for Sunday because he took a knock yesterday? I doubt he'll be playing. Cheers, guys. Good night. Cheers, guys. Great fun. Cheers, Jake. Take care, mate. And take care, everyone. If you have enjoyed the show tonight, I'm sure you've had a good laugh at it at certain points. Do smash the like button, as it really does help us build the channel. If you are new to the channel, have a look around, see what you think of it. Please do subscribe. If you keep watching the shows and haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing, because we really do want to build this channel up to be one of the top ones. But as usual, thank you to everybody that's watched tonight. Me and Jayde, we will be back tomorrow with the Fulham versus Newcastle United match preview. And of course, we'll be talking about the press conference and see what Steve Bruce had to say for that. But in the meantime, guys, wow, we'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, bright and fresh and breezy. But in the meantime, guys, have a great night. Take care.
Good night. Strong.